Good morning. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone today. I'm making a recording that I'm not used to, doing it in the British tongue. I normally do my YouTube recordings in Afrikaans, which is my native language. But yesterday afternoon, I had a conversation with a lady who showed me the necessity of sometimes stepping out of our comfort zone and addressing things that need being addressed. This lady is a client of mine in my business, and we firstly had a conversation, of course, about the work, but then we had the privilege of sharing our religious thoughts. And I must be honest, I wasn't taken aback. I had the privilege of hearing the true love of the Lord in somebody's voice. Something that I've not had the privilege to hear for a very long time. True love for the Lord. But the thing that caught me off guard, and I hope I'm not stepping out of my bounds here, and I'm giving a true reflection of what I perceive to be, is not self-torment, but I heard the pain of somebody not reaching the goal set by not themselves, but by the understanding of the Word of God, which is normally presented by religious institutions like churches or whatever it may be. The reality of it is, this is not a modern phenomenon. This is something that's come through the whole existence of human, where parameters are set by individuals or institutions, which people who's good at art, who believes in this whole process, that they so wish to achieve that not achieving it is almost unfathomable. We find this in the prophetic books like Micah, where he speaks about false prophets. Now, we tend to take the words that we hear and we frame them within something that the way we understand it, but that is not the intent. When God speaks about false prophets, it covers the whole spectrum of it. Messiah also spoke to false prophets, but he called them you hypocrites and your snakes, and he was addressing the teachers, the Torah teachers and the Pharisees. And other than the general belief that Pharisees were evil people, that's not true. They were very, very educated individuals within a system that failed them. And me as a believer, when I look at Christianity mostly, and even in the Messianic movement and all other movements, and also in what I read about in the Bible, I see the parallels. I see the true thing happening in modern churches than is reflected in the words of Messiah. In this context, when Messiah tells the Pharisees, you hypocrites and your snakes or your serpents, depending on the translation that you use, is not necessarily referring to the legal or the religious implication of the word or the relationship with God. Is referring to the falseness of the traditions and the cultures and the doctrines set by these leaders, which 99% of the time they themselves do not strive for or even achieve, but they measure the people against this. Yet again, I say, I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds here. But when I listen to this lady, in the midst of really hearing this love for the Lord, this pain I heard was, and she vocalized it by saying she's not seeing the works of God in her life. Now, those very words reflected to me, showed me that she's got something she measures that she will probably never achieve, because what she's looking for is not what is promised. If you really want to know what the word says, go measure it against the character of God reflected by the Messiah. The Messiah, you may call him Jesus, mostly people do, and I've got no issue with that. But his Hebrew name was Yeshua. I prefer to name him Yeshua. So you get these stories in these parables that Jesus spoke as the true reflection of the character of God. When he tells you about the talents, by implication, it means that each and every one of us, whether we've been evil, whether we've been good, whether we've been religious, or we agnostic, or we atheist, or whatever, we all received talents from God. And they not one of them are the same. You get similarities, but they all differ, just like our fingerprints do. The question we must start with is, which talents did God give me? Or did God give me? Sorry, I'm mostly Afrikaans. I will slip up. Not all of us can be speakers who capture the attention of people and carry over, whether it's a message of politics or religion, or not all of us can do that. Not all of us are financial geniuses who can bless people with our knowledge and our skills, playing the markets and investing and whatever that takes. Not all of us are meant to be caregivers and lovers. Love as for our kids and our fellow men, but we all are instructed by the Lord to love him, number one, as we see Messiah also reflecting. And equal to this, similar to this, love our neighbor. And not go with false interpretations of the meaning of thy neighbor. I think a better way to look at it is to love his creation. And the last time I looked, the only being with the power of creation. All that he created, we are instructed to love. Does that mean that we must become punch bags? Other church doctrine I don't agree with. No. It means when truth visits you, you accept it with love. When somebody is deviating, not out of intent, but they are searching, you are to lead them through love to the true intent of the gospel. When somebody who is evil and absolutely contrary to the message of the gospel and the intent of the God of the Old Testament and the New Testament, you are to put on the armor of God and you have to stand fast in truth, not be a wimp and not accepting all the punches dished out by evil. That is the doctrine I want to discuss in a future video. But to stand fast as a believer, relevant to the talents given to you. Not all of us have the talent. I want to close this video with the following idea. This lady was clearly given the talent of caregiver and one to live out love the way God intends it to be. Therefore, I am of the opinion that the measures that she's putting in front of her, which clearly and normally originates through doctrine taught, is not doing any good. Actually, to the contrary, it is creating a sense of failing, when in fact you are overachieving. God's love goes out to the world through each and every one of us. We all carry the responsibility of carrying that over. The yardstick with which we measure sometimes originates out of false doctrine. So let me give you a good idea of this. I hear this quite frequently, that this one is so blessed by God because he heals, she heals. That is false to the deepest pits of hell. You see, in the book of Acts, we find the disciples, which in Hebrew is Talmudim, sitting with the Messiah. He tells them a lot of things, but one of the things he does is he changes their titles to, which we read mostly as apostles, which originates from the Greek word apostolos, which doesn't really measure up. The intent of the title doesn't measure up to the Hebrew context of it, which is shaliach. Shaliach identifies a fully empowered agent of whoever makes the appointment. And Jesus, Yeshua, appointed them as his agents, as his shaliach, which is why we then read that they were able to wake people from the dead and heal people, because they were accredited with the powers as the fully appointed agents of the Messiah. The general believers today, the teachers of the gospel, the leaders of the church, were never appointed as shaliach. We were told, go and be disciples, Talmudim, which then means we do not have the power to heal or raise from the dead. But what we do have is we have got an open line to our God, to whom we can raise our praise and say, Father, if it is your will, please make a difference. Heal, save, empower, teach. In love, of course. But that doesn't bring into account the following. Life starts out, and I can only speak about myself. Life starts out, you are fortunate in a house where you live in love, where you are taught in love, where you go through a system where you are taught values. Saying that, truth is also that even if we are taught values, that we don't always comply with that, fall off the way and do things that are contrary to what we are taught. I'm definitely guilty of that for the greater part of my life. But also through the values, you come to a point where you realize I'm self-destructive. Come to a point where you give your life to God. And if you listen, He teaches you, He leads you. Through that cycle, you learn properly how to be a sinner. Through that cycle, you learn what it means to turn to God. Through that cycle, you learn how to identify the blessings that He brings on your path every day of your life. And if you discern, you learn how to be thankful for and live that out to other people through your talent. In the end of the day, your success pertaining to the Lord are measured in your relationship with Him. Exactly what the gospel tells you. Exactly what the Bible tells you. Not the yardstick that the church or any other person measures with in life. Which is why when we truly look at the end of the book, I call it the cherry on top, book of Revelations, then you see that we don't have a turn to speak when judgment is issued, because our lives are a representation of who we are and the choices we make and the life we live. When will we take God at His word? When will we realize that life on earth, the one we live, is a reflection of the character of God? The choices we are given is a true reflection of his character, where you are taught through trials and tribulations so that you can grow in strength. The purpose of the trials and tribulations is not to destroy you, but build you stronger. When will we realize that the world as it is today is contrary to the character of God? And the message we get a lot of times from the church is reflecting a gospel of death and destruction, not the true character of God. My advice to people is go search and seek the truth of God. And we as a modern people don't have an excuse. We've got everything to our credit. We can search Google. When you want to study the true intent of the scripture and the Bible, you can use eSword, which is mostly free. You can use Blue Letter Bible, which actually gives you the Hebrew and the Greek text where relevant. And you can go see what the true intent of the word is. I frequently hear the mention by preachers that wherever two or more are assembled in my name, so I will be there, and they connected to praise and worship, which is beautiful. But that is not the true application of two or more. Because God says, where you go into your room in secret and you pray to me and you worship me, there I shall be. Contrary to that message. And you find where the true application of the two or more is relevant is when we come to accuse a brother or a sister of an abominable sin. God says, when you do that, you need to be at least two witnesses to testify against this person for the sin they committed. And there I shall be as an additional witness and also as a witness to testify, probably against you if you lie. The same concept we get in the prophetic books. Throughout all the prophecies, whatever's happening in the world now, they told us about it. When I want to decide whether I want to follow the God of the Bible or not, I learned from the prophetic books the truth of it all. See, when you go look at the world the way it is today, you will find that it was prophesied, even by a normal preacher like Paul. 2 Timothy 3, go read it. There you get these words in the end of days or the latter days or the end of the world or whatever. Hebrew word is acharita yamim. CJB reflects it the way it's supposed to be. And it speaks about this time we're living in. And if you know the prophecies, know the way it flows, the world will not be used to you. It will not turn over your constitution. You will get power from knowing that whatever's happening in the world now is the truth. And it was prophesied thousands of years ago by the prophets about these times. You as a believer, you can get your solace in knowing that God's hand is at work and he is busy. Brother, is he busy? In God. You and me, we are instructed to live out our love for God by loving his creation, his fellow man, taking responsibility for nature and everything in it as believers. Get your peace that you need spiritually, knowing every day when you close off the day, looking back, did I do my best to show my love and the love of God to everybody? Did I do my best to comfort somebody in pain? Did I do my best to show people the way to the love of God through what I did? And if your answer is yes, get comfort in that. We are not put on the earth to change the world through wonders and miracles. We are put on the earth to change the world, reflecting the true character of God. While making this video, I already decided that I will do this more frequently, doing videos in English as well. But mostly, unfortunately, the audience I focus on is my culture, my people, where I see so much pain because of false doctrine and misleading of the. May you find solace in what you hear. May this be of great value to you. Truly hope so, sincerely hope so. And I wish you all a very, very blessed day.